Hi everyone, it's Miss Marie, and today for our Tales and Tales story time, we are going to be reading tales and tales about animals that you might find in the forest. The first one is called Hiking Day by Anne Rockwell, and it has some animals that we might see on a hike in a forest near us. And the other one is called The Great Indoors, and it's a very silly story about what do the animals in the forest do when you go to visit the forest. Where do they go? So join me as we read these really fun stories, Tales and Tales, Animals in the Forest. Okay, so for our Tales and Tales and the Animals in the Woods, we're going to first start off with a brand new book called Hiking Day by Anne Rockwell. It's illustrated by Lizzie Rockwell, and it's a My First Experience book. I love these books. They're similar to nonfiction stories, but they also have a little bit of a story to them, so it's really nice to read. It has information, but it's in a story form. She's got others called Zoo Day and Library Day, and these are just great. So I think you're going to really like this one. This is all about some animals that you might spot a day hiking in the woods, which is what our storytime theme is this week. Animals in the woods, and there we see a chipmunk. I'm sure you've all seen one. And here is a beautiful picture of, I guess it's sunrise over some mountains. Today, my mother, my father, and I are going to climb Hickory Hill. That's the mountain I see from my window. It looks like a mountain to me, but everyone calls it Hickory Hill. I put on sturdy sneakers, find my floppy hat, and fill my water bottle. Very important things. Or you might have hiking boots that you might put on. The ride from our house to Hickory Hill takes about 20 minutes. As we drive, I see fewer and fewer houses and more tall trees. And there they go. As soon as we park the car, we check the map to see which trail to follow. Trails are like paths cut through the woods. We choose the red one, my favorite color. Sometimes the paths are marked with how difficult or how easy they are. That's important to know too. It's good to always look at a map. The minute we step onto the trail, we are surrounded by tall trees. We can't see sky. The ground is covered with leaves and ferns. It looks like the inside of my mother's terrarium. It's so quiet, I can hear my sneakers crunching on the ground. Oh, and I don't know if you noticed that back in the beginning. Hold on, let me go back. There is a nice terrarium right there on the table. And I guess if you got inside of it, it would look like this. But you can't fit inside, of course. As we climb higher up Hickory Hill, a fat toad leaps in front of us. Ribbit, ribbit, he says. I kneel down to look at him. His colors match the floor of the woods and the tree bark. Does anybody know what it's called when the animal blends into the background? Camouflage. That toad is camouflage on the leaves and mud. Hey, says my father, where is the red trail marker? Uh-oh, Mom says, where can it be? Are we lost, I wonder? We look up at all the tall tree trunks around us. Then we notice a prickly porcupine climbing a tree. As she moves up the trunk, I see a red marker. I found it, I cry. Oh, thank goodness she has good eyes, because it is her favorite color. We begin hiking again. I hear a loud tap, 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 tap. It sounds like someone is using a hammer. A little chipmunk puts a hickory nut in her mouth and scurries through the leaves. Getting ready for winter, my father says. And there are some other hikers on the trail. And who knows who was making that tap, tap, tap sound? I'm gonna find it on the next page, but see if you can find it on this page. The tap, tap, tap gets louder. My mother points up and I see a woodpecker making a hole in a tree. He's looking for insects hiding inside, she tells me. He uses his beak to make the hole bigger and find good things to eat. Bugs, yuck, say Dad and I. Well, to the woodpecker, they're not so yucky. We see some yellow mushrooms and red berries growing on a bush. But that beautiful friendly toad is gone. Maybe he decided to hike down Hickory Hill instead of hiking up with us. But now, those berries and mushrooms are not for people to eat unless you know that they're safe to eat, right? You never eat something in the woods if you don't know what it is. Just look. Soon we stop for a drink. All of a sudden, I know someone is looking at me. I slowly turn to see a deer with wide antlers. He leaps up so fast that no one sees him but me. There he is. He also saw the camouflage. The more we walk, the more I notice the trees are not so tall. The ground is rockier. Now I see bits of blue sky and even an airplane flying across the sky. I wonder why that is. Suddenly, the ground below my feet isn't the woodland anymore. It's a big, flat rock. We're at the summit, my father tells me, the top of Hickory Hill. We did it, I say. Oh, so it changed from forest to a rock. That's fun to have a nice place to go and look out and see where you've come from when you've been hiking. I love that. We all sit down on the sunny, warm rock, and guess who jumps up to be with us? The friendly fat toad. There he is. Good to take a little break and enjoy the view. And that is the end of hiking day. Now, there were a lot of animals in this hiking book. Do you remember what we saw? Tails and tails. We saw a frog, or toad. We saw a woodpecker, a deer, a chipmunk. What else? A porcupine. I think that might be it. Is that everybody we saw? Yes, I think so. That was a fun one. I like that. So that's Tails and Tails in the forest or in the woods, and it was a nice day for people to go out and go on a hike and see the animals living in the forest, right? What if the forest animals came to your house when you weren't home? Well, that's what this story is about. It's called The Great Indoors, and it's written by Julie Falachko and illustrated by Ruth Chan. And it's pretty silly. It says, there's no place like someone else's home. So while we're out visiting the woods, the animals from the woods are going to come and visit this house. This is a very silly story. And here on the end papers, we see the family car is leaving, packed up for a camping vacation in the woods. And then who pops out of the woods and starts walking towards the house? But some of the animals from the woods. Oh, and I see a bear's tail going into the house. The bears always arrived first. Ah, the great indoors, said Father Bear. The most relaxing week of the year, said Mother Bear. I call the bathroom, said the teenage bear, running in with her blow dryer and curling iron. So, the bears are taking a vacation in a people house. Oh no. The beavers moved in next, setting up camp in the kitchen. I do so love a roof over my head, said one. Everything stays dry as the inside of a pine cone. Here's the ice cream, said another. Shove it in the freezer before it melts. They have brought a lot of ice cream. I don't think there's going to be room in the freezer for all that. But they have brought a lot of food, the beavers, and they're setting up in the kitchen. The deer were next with their karaoke machine. Goodbye, peace and quiet, said Big Deer. Hello, dance party, said a bigger deer. So they don't want peace and quiet like the forest. They want a dance party with a disco ball and a karaoke machine. The skunks flopped onto the couch. Ah, the simple life. When you want light, you just flip a switch. So simple. There's one with the flashlight, one with the cell phone, plugged in. Everyone gathered around the glow of the television, while the beavers whipped up snacks. Can I have more ice in my drink? Asked the mother bear. Of course, said the beaver. Nothing like a frosty cold drink, said the bear. So much better than the forest temperature drinks at home. Lasagna time, said the beaver in the chef's hat. So they're setting around the TV. I don't know if they're actually watching anything or just letting the TV glow. But at any rate, they're getting ready with snacks and food in front of the TV. The great indoors was the perfect vacation spot. The bears built things with power tools. The skunks all enjoyed the excellent cell phone reception. And the deer crooned love songs and hollered rock anthems. So let's see. They're making squeezy bear honey out here in the garage. It looks like it says honey purifier. Down here they are building all different kinds of things. A fur defuzzer. Here they are sitting there and using their cell phones, playing games. Here they are singing karaoke. These animals are so silly. And the beavers were always ready with casseroles, milkshakes, cookies, and toast. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of food, even for all those wild animals. This is the life, said a bear. Oh, one of them is still in the bathroom doing their hair. I can finally let my hair down, said the big deer. I'm going to take another shower, said the skunk. Skunks are supposed to be stinky, so I guess he's going to keep showering, trying to get the stink off. As the days went by, things got less than perfect. I'm so sore, all this dancing and singing, says the karaoke deer. My thumbs hurt from playing Dam Builder 4 all day, says the beaver who plays on the computer all day, or the cell phone. The teenage bear still wouldn't come out of the bathroom. And then it got worse. She's still in there doing her hair. Did you drink all the coffee, you little stinker? Who forgot to put the lid on the blender? Who left the freezer open? And who keeps licking the butter? Ew. Oh no, they're getting to be maybe too much time together in such a small place. They're used to big open wild, right? And still it got even worse. Oh my God. And still it got even worse. Oops, I broke the bed. Whoops, blew out the speaker. Just a small fire, just a small toaster fire. You're not supposed to put nacho cheese in the toaster. Oh no, and look at the mess they've made in the people's house. There's food and gunk everywhere. Things are getting worse. Let's see what's gonna happen. Maybe they should go back, let's say. Uh-oh, now there's fighting. Whoosh, brr, squelch. Oh no, they're yelling. They're trying to put out fires. They're making a really big mess. What do you think? Is it time to go back to the woods? Everyone was ready to go home. Do you ever feel like that after a vacation, like it's time to go home? Well, here they're draining water out of the fish tank and trying to eat it, drink it. I miss the peace and quiet, said a deer. Look, the clock is going tick-tock. The radio is going blah, blah, blah. The teapot's going fee. The great indoors is too much work, said Beaver. I miss going to the bathroom behind a tree, said the little skunk. Still, it was a great week, huh? Wouldn't miss it. See you next year, definitely. All right, so they're leaving. They're packing up and they're going back to the forest. But did they put everything just right in the house? And here come the people. Boy, am I glad to be home. What's inside their house? Do you see their shadow and they're going like this? Ah! What happened in their home? Look, there are the wild animals back in their forest home. Nice and quiet, but I do see a disco ball hanging in the forest. And that is the end. Very, very silly, but I enjoyed that one, the great indoors. What happens when the animals go on vacation at your house? Okay, for our storyboard today, we're going to be looking for tails and tales on the trails in New Jersey. So I need you to put on your binoculars and let's see what animals we find in the woods in New Jersey. Are you ready? This is called I Went Hiking. Here we go. I went hiking and what did I see? I saw a white-tailed deer looking at me. Good. I went hiking and what did I see? I saw a gray fox looking at me. We do indeed have gray foxes in New Jersey. We have some red foxes too, but they're not native to New Jersey. I went hiking and what did I see? I saw a black bear looking at me. I went hiking and what did I see? Sometimes there are black bears in New Jersey, but you don't see them a lot. I saw a Cooper's hawk looking at me. You can see them sometimes up in the trees or flying around. Good. I went hiking and what did I see? I saw a chipmunk looking at me. I went hiking. What did I see? I saw a timber rattler looking at me. I have seen those before in the woods. They don't bother anybody. I went hiking and what did I see? I saw a turtle looking at me. I went hiking and what did I see? I saw a green frog looking at me. I went hiking and what did I see? I saw a white-tailed deer, a gray fox, a black bear, a timber rattler, a Cooper's hawk, a chipmunk, a turtle, and a frog. Whoops, they saw me. What happens when they see you? They run away. Even if you're really quiet, once they see you, they run away. And that's the end. Okay, for this week's craft, inside your craft kit, you will find a wooden key ring with a woodland animal on it. They're all different. I have an owl here. I think some are foxes. I think there might be a moose in there. And I'm going to use markers to color it in. You can try using the crayons or you can use pencil, but I like markers. And I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to give my owl yellow eyes. A lot of owls have yellow eyes. You can color yours like fantastical colors too. It doesn't have to be accurate to nature. I'm going to color the nose, the beak orange. Maybe the talons will be orange as well. These sharp talons down here. I'm going to do some brown on these. Let's see, this might be too dark, so maybe I'll do gray. Let's try gray. See if it's any lighter. I think it's a little bit lighter. And again, that's why you might want to try with pencil or crayon. Depending on how you want it to be. If you want to seal the little feathers through it, you should go with a lighter color. Okay. And that's it. Now you have a nice key ring that you can use for your house keys, or you can give it to a grown-up that you know that would like a key ring for their house keys. And you're all set. Thank you for joining me for Tales and Tales in the Woods, and I will see you next week.